From the bookstore she runs in Kabul, Zainab Rahman says the news that the US will be withdrawing all its troops from Afghanistan has left her with a feeling of dread.
I, as an Afghan girl, can easily study and work as the current government is in power. But if the US troops leave the country and the civil war happens, or if the Taliban takes over, I will not be able to study or work. I won't even be able to go out.
On the streets of the capital, people have mixed feelings.
The Americans have not fulfilled their responsibility to Afghanistan. Their responsibility is to ensure a strong government, the rule of law and democracy in Afghanistan, and ensure that people's concerns are allayed from terrorism, drugs, intervention by other countries.
They failed to fulfill the promises they have made to the Afghan people. These forces are not useful to Afghanistan because their presence has not changed the country's security situation.
President Ashraf Ghani has welcomed the move. In a series of tweets he posted after speaking to the US President Joe Biden, he says Afghan security forces are capable of defending their own people. An official from the Afghan peace negotiations team shares his optimism.
In the past at least 2 years, it has been our national security and defense forces that has been fighting on the front line. And there's been, especially since February, there's been zero international foot on ground.
The Taliban, who has been vying for power since being overthrown by the US in 2001, has welcomed the move.
The withdrawal of the foreign troops is our people's demand, and this is something we fought for in the last 20 years. This was always our objective. At the end of the day, the withdrawal must take place.
The United Nations says at least 44,000 Afghan civilians have been killed since the beginning of the war. At least 100,000 Afghans have died overall. But many now fear attacks by the Taliban. In the previous few months, rights groups say there's been a rise in targeted killings of government officials, civil society leaders and journalists. Although President Ghani has prepared a plan to reach a political settlement with the Taliban, with an absence of a ceasefire, the biggest fear for many is that the country could plunge back into a renewed civil war. And for people like Farahmand and all those affected by almost 2 decades of conflict, only time will tell how the troop pullout will affect their lives. Laura Bowden-Manley, Al Jazeera.